Welcome back, everybody, to the CHG podcast.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Closer to Christmas now. Not quite Christmas,
Yeah,
but
it's getting
closer.
there. I'm getting there. Hey, I'm just ahead of the curve, man. All right, early bird gets the worm, or in this case, extra all the early presents and extra presents and stuff. Yeah. So my name is RJ. That's David over there. This is CHG podcast where we try to talk intelligently about the gaming industry and the goings on and stuff like that, and also try to be funny
And
while
we
at the same
have
time.
some goings on.
We do.
Uh,
So for some of you who may know, the Game Awards were last Wednesday. So we're a little late to the party, but there was a whole lot of stuff announced, way more than I thought. I didn't realize it was a 3 hour freaking thing. um, I saw the first half hour or 45 minutes,
yeah,
and
because
then I
they
had
had to go somewhere.
then I had to leave. But yeah, but I did get to see the Sonic Hedgehog 2 trailer.
Tails.
That was the last thing I saw. Like I wanted to make sure I saw that, and
Yeah.
so the trailer was a little bit of a letdown though, because the movie was a lot funnier than anyone expected it to be. So I
Mhm.
thought the trailer would be a lot more funnier, but it was a couple. There was a couple of funny bits, but like overall, I thought it was like ah. But
I mean,
obviously, we saw Knuckles.
I'd rather them save the jokes for the movie if there's
That's true.
than
That's
just
true.
do all the big
Yeah,
jokes.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But then we saw Knuckles, voiced by the one and only crap. What's his name? It's escaping me.
What?
Idris Elba. Idris Elba. I'm
Oh
sorry,
yeah, Idris
Idris Elba. And it
Elba.
was funny. The next day, I saw an article saying Idris Elba has failed at not making Knuckles sound sexy. I was like, of
I
course,
don't.
of
Yeah,
course.
I mean, yeah, I saw him in the Netflix. The Harder They Fall. He was really good in that.
Dude, he's good. What is he now? I mean, come on, he was probably the only highlight of that Cats movie musical adaptation.
I didn't even know he was in it.
He was in it.
That's
Dude,
stupid,
all types of people were in that movie. Taylor
dude.
Swift was in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
What was that? Not J. Cole, but that other R&B singer. I forget his name, but he was in it.
I don't
We were
know.
like, oh,
It was
what is going
terrible.
on?
I don't know. Like I think all the agents just got together and be like, "Hey, you want to do something funny? Let's all put our guys in this shit." They just had a laugh about it.
Yeah, that was when I saw him as a cat too. I was like, what?
Yeah.
um so funny about the Game Awards is that so they haven't said anything this year, but I remember the last year or two they were giving out the figures, like the viewership figures. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to bore you, but sorry, they announced the viewership figures, and it was interesting. The Game Awards was actually the most watched award show out of the year, or like
Well,
all time or something.
I think that has a lot to do with this. All of the shows have been canceled this last
Well,
2 years
it
now.
may
So
not.
like it's been the big thing that still happened.
No, no, he was comparing it to like Emmys, Oscars,
No, I
prime
know.
time.
What
No,
I'm
those weren't
saying though
canceled.
is no, but what I'm saying though is that we had all of these normal shows and venues and stuff that happen typically in the gaming's world, and none of that happened this year, or at least not like it used
Oh,
to. So like this, had
you're
a lot of
saying
hype around
okay,
it, like because people wanted to hear news and they hadn't really
okay.
had a showing for that.
That's why. Because
Yeah.
okay, well, no, E3 was not canceled, and that's usually the only other big one.
I mean, there's a lot of other ones, and E3
I
was
mean,
meh.
you're meh. Um,
True.
by the way, it's still fun to know that. When I told I told Rachel, she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, it is." She didn't believe me.
Yeah.
She didn't believe me not one bit. I was like, "No, it is."
And Drake
Oh,
just shat over the Emmys. Just
oh, did you really?
yeah, he pulled his name from the album of the year vote in
What was it
protest.
for? Protests of what
Oh,
exactly? I'm sure I could guess, but what
just
specifically?
that it's like the Emmys are just like a rich boy club, not a rich boy club, like, but it's like elitist. Like it doesn't they don't really reflect what actually happens within the industry. It's just about what a bunch of old heads agreed was whatever.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I figure I know the Oscars and or the movie ones have been dealing with that for a little while too.
Yeah, so yeah, same
Um,
kind of thing, just the Emmys.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Um, Anyways, well, enough of that. We're gonna get into what we're playing, guys.
Games.
I'll go first again. So because it's not much. Finally, for 1 week, I don't have too much going on. But so F1 2012 is on pause. I have my second copy coming in the mail via eBay, so I can self boost again with my other PlayStation to get the online trophies. So I did that for WRC4, and I'm doing it for F1 2012. And after I do that, I'll be done with that game. I can move on to 2013, and then I played Far Cry Classic, the first one. They back on the PS3 360 era, they released a digital copy of it. I think it was like 2013, 2014. They released a digital copy, and so it's been on my radar. I had bought it a little while ago. I bought it when there was like the scare of the PSN going down for good on the PS3.
Yeah.
So I bought it during then, and so I wanted to play it. So I finally played it, and I beat it and platinum 2 days ago, and very interesting. It's a very interesting game. We've come a long way since 2004.
Yeah.
Because the game initially came out in 2004.
Yeah.
And this is actually the port. And also, I read up on it too. Because I remember seeing back in the day, like when I was at GameStop, sometimes on the 360 shelf, there would be like a Far Cry Predator Instincts or something like that. Far Cry Instincts. And I knew that was like the first game of some kind, right? So I thought that was the first game. And so it turns out it actually has an entire freaking thing. Okay. So Far Cry came out on the PC. It was actually made by Crytek, the Crysis guys. They made it, and it was just called Far Cry. And then it got ported to Xbox, and it was called Far Cry Predator or something like that. And then, but it was like an inferior version. And then from there, somehow they made a trilogy out of that game.
Yeah.
Out of this, like it was like a Predator trilogy. So the Predator Instincts, and then there was like a Predator Velocity or something like that. There was like 3 games afterwards, and I was like, was it this good? Like I didn't.
Well,
like,
so
holy crap!
What I remember the Predator, Far Cry Predator was the multiplayer, the couch multiplayer of it, because like one person got to be the Predator, which was basically the Predator from the movie. Like you got like, heat vision, and you can move really fast and jump and stuff like that. And then everybody else like hunted the Predator. So it was a really good multiplayer game at the time. So that's like why it kind of blew up. It wasn't really because of the single player, but the multiplayer
it's
was
interesting
really
because
fun.
what I had read was the original Far Cry PC release had multiplayer, but it was stripped or reduced in the Xbox port.
And that's possible.
Now, it might actually be that it was removed in the Xbox original port, but then when it got put to 360, they probably were able to do multiplayer, what you're talking about. Because it actually was
I'm not sure when I played
because it was on original Xbox, and then it went to 360 after that. Like, it is crazy. It's wild. Like, I did not expect for me to jump into a rabbit hole this deep with Far Cry, the first one. Because I thought it was just Far Cry, then Far Cry 2 in 2008. Like, nope, there's like 3 other games in between that are not canon at all. Or they're canon within that. It's a very specific canon, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, so that was cool and fun to learn. Something about the game though, it's such a chore to fucking play. Like I did not like playing it because it's so primitive. The shooting is so primitive. The aiming is primitive. Like I said, we've come a long way since 04 as far as first person shooters are concerned. However, the one thing I thought was impressive was that enemies react pretty nicely when you shoot them and kill them. They kind of like, they don't just like become like limp noodles. Well, they do, but like they don't just like ragdolls. They do go limp, but in like more realistic ways, and they do respond to the environment. Like, so like if you shot them and they're near a wall, they'll actually like, lean against the wall and fall down or something like that. Like, it's pretty much more than I thought I was expecting from 04, right? Back in 04 tech. And then also you're on an island and you play as a white guy and you're trying to kill another white guy. I think he was British. It doesn't matter. White. But like the enemies you fight are actually varied in race, which I was not expecting. I mean, Far Cry has always been kind of diverse with like the characters, whether you're people you kill or people you're with or who you are. They're pretty good at that, honestly, with their bigger franchises as far as Far Cry or Watch Dogs or whatever. So I was impressed that it went back as far as 04, that they had those diversity, because I would shoot some white guys, I shoot like some more darker skinned guys. I like that. It was really something I noticed. I thought it was kind of nice, because I think back then you could easily get away with just everyone being a certain color palette and done. So yeah, but it's just also it was just the camera was just wonky. The shooting was it wasn't not I would say unresponsive, which is really slow. You could change your camera sensitivity, but you couldn't change your aiming sensitivity. It was just one. It was just one. Like your
Weird.
camera was for both. And so like you'd be moving too fast in regular movement, but like not fast like but sometimes you're just fine with your aiming, but like you want something separate for both. like we now
Yeah.
you can do that. Now there's separate sensitivities, but back then it just wasn't there. So but anyways, I finished it. It's done. And so I'm just thinking about moving on to Far Cry 2, but I heard but getting the platinum on that is going to be a bitch. So I'm really hesitant. But in the meantime, I downloaded Superstars V8 Racing, which is another indie racing title I bought during the PSN scare, and it's weird. It's definitely an indie title. It's definitely a budget title, but it's made by Milestone, who are like one of the more premier racing devs out there. They're still going today. They make they used to make the WRC games. Yeah, they used to make the WRC games, like the first few, and then I think they make a lot of the MotoGP games and like the MXGP games. So like they've been in the racing scene for a long time. But this game, I don't know what the hell they must have just like let three guys out of their team make this thing because like it's so weird. Like the game is fine, the racing's whatever. There's only 10 tracks, but like I said, the title's like $5. Okay, that's fine. Um, the menus are there as whatever, but the game the weirdest thing about the game is that it constantly stutters. Like I don't know if it's a frame rate issue or what, but like I'll just be racing, everything seems to be fine, and then the game will just stop for like a brief moment and then go again. But then it's like during that time where like the game's still running, but like it has to catch up, but like the game already kind of just went, even though the game stops. So like when it resumes, you're like not in the same spot you were before. So it like
Yeah.
fucks up turns and like sometimes you'll be
So
going straight and you don't.
it almost lags without internet.
Lag. There we go. It lags. The game will constantly lag at certain points in a race. I don't know why. I don't know how. I'm playing offline. Like this is from 2010, so online always online was not a thing. Like I don't get it. But it happens constantly. Every race. I mean, luckily the game is pretty freaking easy, so it's not that big a deal. Like I'm gonna platinum it like probably by tomorrow. But at the latest Saturday or Sunday or something. But like, it's just weird. There's no explanation for it at all. And also another thing that baffles me is that I never heard. I guess there is this thing called a Superstars Championship. Anyone who's watching this, if you're a car guy, Rockstar Pool, Shut Your Gob specifically, if you hear any of this, can you tell me what the hell a Superstars Championship is? Because it's like you're in GT1 or GT3 cars. You're familiar with those from like Gran Turismo, right? Like, okay, you're racing cars like that, but it's like F1 rules. So like like there's like a free there's like practice, a couple practice sessions, and a qualifying, and then a regular, and then there's like you can have like hella laps like an F1 race too. But I'm like, but this is an F1. Like I'm all confused. Like there's like a pit and shit too, and all
Yeah, I
this
mean,
stuff. I'm like, what is this?
I've seen stuff like that where street cars race, like souped up street cars race in like high lap on a track like that. I mean, I've seen it before on TV and stuff. Like
I had never heard of it.
Fiat has a car that races in a lot of those.
All right, well, I guess I don't have to ask for those guys. I guess you already know. But I mean, like, and like, I only knew one of the tracks by like Monza. Monza's in there, which I know that track by name. Most people do, but all the other 9 tracks I had never heard of, and they use like
Is
different.
Laguna Seca in there?
No, and I
Laguna
think
Seca is like a
it might be,
famous track.
yeah, I know Laguna Seca. And like it might be because they're using the local names. They're not using like an English name for it. I'm just guessing. I have no idea. That could be. It might not be. But I never heard of the other 9 races, and so I don't know. But I'm playing it. It's fine. I think after I finish that, I'm gonna start Demon's Souls on PS3 and have some fun with that. What are you playing?
I am playing Dark Souls 3 again.
For the thousandth time.
Yeah, it's I actually went through all of my old like loads, and like there's like 3 of them that I stopped in the same like portion of the game. But no, it's talking about diversity or the opposite of it.
Oh,
Dark Souls like can't do black people. They
I've
just
seen it. I've
they
seen that.
just can't. Like they have skin tones,
Yeah.
but like one the preset faces, they're
Hmm.
all white dudes or
Yeah, yeah,
Asian
yeah.
dudes. Like none of them look like I put dark skin, and then just like I look like I black faced my character. Like it looks like a white dude wearing blackface, and like
It does.
it's even worse because like they do something with the skin tone of the eyes that whenever you do a dark skin tone, it makes the face like red,
Okay.
like reddish looking. And like I tried to fix the features myself, but the sliders in Dark Souls are just terrible. So I just made like this malformed dude looking dude. So like I try to have a helmet on him whenever I can. But I'm doing a dex run. I always do strength runs when I play Dark Souls games. Um, so I'm trying a dex run, and it's hard.
You're gonna have
uh,
to explain to me why, because I haven't played Souls enough to know what each stat is supposed to like, you know, um, strengthen over others.
So I mean, it's kind of like Neo, where so like when you do a strength run, you hit a lot harder, so you're okay, like being a little bit slower, and wearing heavier armor. Where when you're doing a dex run, you want to be more nimble and get in, get out kind of thing going on, and yeah, I don't know. It's just different. So I'm wearing lighter armor. I have to um you know be dodging a lot more. I don't hit as hard, so I'm still trying to figure out like how much I can get away with as far as getting in there before I get punished. Stuff like that. So, and like I don't know any of the dex weapons all that well because I've basically, especially in Dark Souls 3, I get in the third world, you get this the butcher's knife from beating a an in-game NPC guy, uh, and it scales to A without doing anything for strength. It's one of the better strength weapons in my opinion that and it's like I'm a noob, so like there's probably way better ones, but I just don't know how to like optimize it. But no, it's fun. Just remembering that before Elden Ring comes out, because
It'll never
I'm
come out.
pretty pumped for Elden Ring.
It'll
So
never come out. It's gonna get delayed. It's gonna be delayed and
it'll
delayed
probably
again.
get delayed a couple more times,
It'll
but
get
oh well.
delayed. It'll probably come at the same time GTA 6 comes out.
I learned that when my wife gives me back my Switch, which is rare because, like I said last time, she's playing Stardew Valley pretty heavily. Um, I'm playing Brilliant Diamond, trying to get through that so I can do some shiny hunting and then start the game over with some shiny Pokemon.
Oh, my brother! I spoke to my brother the other day, about Pokemon,
Mhm.
because he doesn't have Diamond and Pearl, the Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl, but he's going to get them. But he played Sword and Shield. He didn't get the expansions though. But we were talking about your I told him about your issue. Your constant bitching about the experience share, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's doo doo."
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but
It
then we were,
is. It's fucking
but
terrible.
he was telling me something about it though. He said, he said, it fucks up EV training as well. It makes
Oh
it
yeah.
really hard to EV train. So like they made it to where it made it easy to level up in power level, but you can't. It makes it harder to EV train. So you get one or the other. It's really hard to have both because do you know how EV training works? Like, okay, so
I don't ever competitive, so it doesn't matter to me.
I don't ever competitive.
No,
What a sentence. Gotta put that on a shirt. Uh,
straight to the point.
I don't competitive.
I
um,
don't competitive.
so I don't either, but I know how it works. So at least I know the basic premise. Don't get mad at me if I get something wrong. I know the basic premise. All right. So um, each Pokemon that you fight in the wild, or that you could fight in the wild, has a set, like has a certain stat that it's like you can't see it, but like it's a certain like a little like point that your Pokemon gets for defeating it, and it will start favoring a certain stat over others. So I think, oh gosh, I forget what stat it was, but in Pokemon Gen 3, Red, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, if you go to that one cave towards after the first gym leader and it's just full of Whismers, like if you needed to have a stat for that, it was like the best spot to EV train there, because that Pokemon gives you gives a certain like a point, an EV point towards like speed or like, attack or something. And once you start fighting enough of them, if you fight a whole bunch of those Pokemon as you're leveling up per that level, when you do level up, that, let's say, attack stat will go up way higher than it normally would if you were just fighting random Pokemon, just a mix. So it's like, so you basically have to go find Pokemon that boost that favor a certain stat when you defeat them, so that when you level up, that stat will go up by like 4 instead of like 1 or 2. So you get extra points, stuff like that. That's the basic premise of EV training. But like now with the way they redid the leveling, since you level up so fast, you're not going to get enough points for defeating wild Pokemon to properly EV train. So the only way, like, to try to, especially since, I think it said that also, like, I think our brother said that the Pokemon you fight gets dispersed. No, it gets dispersed just that Pokemon who beat it, but every Pokemon gets experience. So that Pokemon who beat it might get a little extra, tiny little boost before it levels up, but everyone else won't, because, or if it does, it's not going to be to a stat you may want it to have. So, so either you get rid of all your Pokemon in the store, or put it in the PC that you don't want to get any experience. But even then, you level up so fast that like it's like you still may not. So it's like, yeah, I don't know why. It's like, guys, you guys know how big your competitive scene is. Like,
they just fucking don't care.
Why would you not? Like they host tournaments. That's the thing. They host their own. They shut down. Well, I think last year they had shut down a tournament that was fan established. They shut it down right before it was gonna go live. Because it was like, this isn't Nintendo sanctioned, Pokemon sanctioned, so we're shutting it down. So it's like they care enough to not let fans run their own Pokemon tournament, but like at the same time, they're making it hard for people to exceed and excel in their own tournaments. Like I that's it. I just wanted to say that. It was just really funny. I didn't know it extended past just experience.
All I'm saying is that if Pokemon hired me, I would take. Here's the thing: I would take no salary. What I would do is
for free
is any money that they made more after hiring me than they made last year, I get a percentage of that. Like, because I would like
whatever percent year-over-year profits would be. You want a certain percent of that percentage increase of that
exactly.
Change. Okay.
I would start adding in like freaking the first thing that would make bank on the next game, Nuzlocke mode, guaranteed. Like Nuzlocke mode, bam, in the game. That right there, so many more copies sold. And then I'd just be like, and then I'd be involved in all of the Pokemon creations. So when they send in a dumbass Pokemon, I'd be like, no, that's a dumbass Pokemon. Get that shit out of here. And then like, yeah, XP share, easier EV training, everything like that. Boom, money. Oh, and just fucking release all the Pokemon on the Nintendo store. Money in the bank. Millions Nintendo of dollars.
Store? Oh, you meant like on the Wii, on the eShop, the eShop. Okay.
Just release an emulated, a digital version on the eShop of all of the games. So
that
much
would be
money.
Crazy. That would be so cool to play an OG Pokemon game. Like on a proper controller, like on your TV. That would be kind of cool. That would be
here's the thing: you could literally pay every game. You could make $60, every single one of them digitally, and people would just be, yeah, fuck it, yeah, I'm paying $60. Like they wouldn't even have to update it. They just have the ability to put it on the Switch, and people are gonna buy that shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone know what happened when they did it with the Gen 1 and Gen 2
the
games.
Yellow ones? Yeah, yellow, blue, and red. Oh my god.
Yeah, on the Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
I mean, it was I think it was like $10-15 per game, but they didn't do anything to it. It was just, here's just support. You could, well, they did allow for Wi-Fi trading in battle. which was nice.
Mhm.
Because I remember I did a whole bunch of trading with Evan to build my teams out. But yeah. Well, I'm glad you cracked the code, David, to
come
fix
get me,
Pokemon's
Nintendo.
problems.
Come get me. I'll make you money.
Yo, I would love for them to fucking give us a cease and desist. Oh my gosh. That would be the best. Because then I would do a reaction video to it. And I would take it down, no problem. But I would almost be honored to be struck down by Nintendo. Like, hey, I made it big enough. I made them worry enough, or we made them worry enough to where they felt they need to have us take us down. Anyways, I did think of, I initially had something to talk about in between. It's been too long though. I forgot what it was.
We're almost
It was
half an
gonna be.
hour in anyway.
It wasn't a question. It was more like just saying something, but I don't remember. So we're gonna move on. But so yeah, guys. Like we alluded at the beginning of this, Game Awards was last Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. No, Thursday. It was last Thursday, and there was a buttload of stuff announced. We're not gonna focus on the awards because honestly, no one does. I will say, the resident voice actress for Lady D won best voice actor.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, duh.
Yeah.
And then I saw her,
and I'm
I
sure
saw
it was
her
for
award.
the voice too, not the
That's
art.
what I meant. It was for the voice. It was for the voice.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is, I'm sure it was for the voice.
Yes, it was. It was. That's what she was nominated for as her voice as Lady D.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyways, but so I saw that bit in the live stream, and then we saw her. She came out, and first of all, I was like, "You are looking far too nice for a Game Awards show." First of all, like, she busted out like a fucking deep lunge, like halter top dress, like it was all sparkled and shit, and I was like, "Damn, son! Like, we're not at the Oscars, girl." I mean, she was looking 10 out of 10 for this occasion here. And everyone saw her in the live chat and they were like, "Oh my gosh, she's just as hot as Lady D." Because none of us had seen her. I hadn't even seen her.
Yeah,
I was
probably
like,
not. No.
All right. I was like, okay. So that was a little funny thing. But anyways, there was a lot of announcements. We're just basically gonna go through all of the game announcements. Most of them. There's a couple I left out because it was more like just like showing gameplay of stuff that we already knew. Like that battle royale set in the Vampire Masquerade franchise. They were showing more footage of that. They showed footage of Tiny Tina. They showed footage of the Justice League. No, the Suicide Squad game. And Chivalry 2. They announced was free to play. Or no, sorry, free this weekend or that weekend or whatever. So some stuff didn't matter, but we're actually gonna go through all the releases. Some things we're just gonna kind of just mention because neither one of us care enough to say anything about it. Some things might get a few sentences out of us because we're like, okay. And then some other things we'll actually be able to talk a little bit more about because either they're really big or they mean something to us or they just warrant a discussion. I don't know what this list, or how I have them is in the order they were announced. Because again, I didn't watch most of the show. But this was the list. This was how I jotted it down to the way it was presented to me. So first up, there was a new Star Wars game made by Quantic Dream.
Yeah.
Which I didn't catch that announcement initially on the show the bit of the show I saw, but I was kind of pumped. I was also surprised.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be in the style of what Quantic Dreams normally does.
Do they know how to do anything else? Like,
hey. Sometimes you got to stick with your core competencies. That's a business. That's business 101.
Like, I get it. Like, I'm fine. And here's the thing: I'm fine with it. I'm stoked for it. Like, the reason why I like the Star Wars universe is the lore and the history and stuff like that. So, like, yeah, I'm gonna love a Quantic Dreams, Too Human-esque, story that I just get to fucking walk around in. Like,
and a game like Quantic Dreams' style of game is something that would allow you can focus on something like the lore and the environments and the characters rather than action or whatever. I mean, yeah, there's action in those movies, but like people love the characters. They love the story. They love
just please
else.
Don't pull any like twist bullshit that they pull in all of their games. Like, just Like it's never as good as they think it is. um,
I'm trying to think because
and
I didn't play. I haven't played Detroit yet, but I did play Heavy Rain and I played Beyond Two Souls. I get okay. I guess there was a twist in Beyond Two Souls.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess there was. But if you were smart enough, you could have probably figured
Well,
it
yeah, and
out.
that's another
I
thing.
wasn't, but
Like it's
I
either too
wasn't. But
obvious or not obvious at all. Like for Heavy Rain, where it's just like, and it was the cop the whole time, even though there's a lot of the game that contradicts him being the murderer. But whatever.
I played that when I was like 14, 15. So like I wasn't guessing who was going to be the killer. I was just like, I'm just ready to know who the killer is. But then when they announced it, I was like, oh crap.
But no, I'm excited.
I thought the explanation for that killer though was good enough though. I mean, maybe it was the reveal was a letdown, but the motivation was solid
Yeah,
enough for me.
motivation. Yeah.
But yeah, Beyond Two Souls, I did like the ending of Heavy Rain more than I did Beyond Two Souls though. Beyond Two Souls that was a game. I'll say that
Yeah.
was a game.
Yeah.
I still have it. I still own it. The steelbook for it is beautiful.
Yeah. It is
In my
really
opinion,
good.
it's one of my favorite steelbooks that I have. And the game is fun. It's interesting. You know, I'll get the PS4 release because you can play it freaking in chronological mode instead of
So
these
yeah,
scattered
jumping
bits
back and
in
forth.
over her life.
Yeah.
And so I want to see how that plays out too. Like if it makes more sense as you go along in her life rather than these bits and pieces. Anyways, so that'll be fun. I won't play. That's not gonna be a day one for me, but I will be interested to see how it does. I hope it does well. I hope their style game, like I said, will be able to allow them to really realize the world
Yeah, and
and allow you to take it in rather than having to
it's from
like
a
always be
really
like interacting with
really
it.
cool time in games and Star Wars lore that hasn't been
Mhm.
touched on
Yes, that
in
too.
any of the movies. It was
Mhm.
established in the books that were made, but all of that stuff is now not non-canon. So I guess there
It's not? Oh,
no
I thought it was.
when Disney took over the franchise, they basically said the Star Wars extended universe does not exist anymore. So anything that is not
Oh.
that was not Lucas films or Disney
Mhm.
is not canon, which is fair because there's Lucasfilms, Lucas Arts just let people go fucking nuts. Like they didn't DM take down anything. They were just like, yeah, you want to make a book about you know these Jedi on a moon having a party. Yeah, fuck it, whatever. Cool. Just give us our cut and we're good. Um, so there was a lot of outlandish shit, but then there was a lot of really cool shit too. So they're more like, oh, hey, that is a cool idea. So we will bring that back into canon. So, but it's cool. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, let's move on.
Alan Wake 2 was announced, which I saw that.
Oh, Alan Wake 2, yes.
Mhm.
I'm not a
That
scary.
was it.
Yeah, that looks really cool. I'm not a scary game guy, so I will not be playing it. And this definitely is. They said, hey, it's
Yeah.
survivor horror now. Like it
Yeah,
is
it's gonna be.
legit, and it
Mhm.
looked great. Like of course, it was CG trailer, but
We'll
it
see
still
how it
looked good.
goes. I'll be interested. I haven't gotten a copy of the first one yet. I will eventually play it. Because that was a game I always thought was like always interesting, but it was a 360 exclusive for the forever. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that was really fun. A lot of people were. I was not expecting that at all.
Mm.
But we'll have to see how that goes. It's funny. We'll see how much it leans on the horror because if it's
They
doable enough, I might give it a shot. Um,
yeah.
because like Evil Within
They
is
made it
also
a
one,
point that
but
like it's survival horror, survival horror.
I mean I say that because like Evil Within is also supposed to be one of those games too.
Mm.
But I've seen gameplay of it, and I can handle that.
Yeah,
So, like I said, if it's something like Evil Within, I can handle that.
I would
I
say it's
can play
probably
that.
is that Resident Evil ish, that kind of stuff.
Well, depends. I mean, depends what Resident we're talking about. If we're talking about like Resident Evil 7, oh fuck, no, probably not that because that game is proper scary. But if we're talking about Resident Evil 8, 8's not even a scary game. It's honestly just an action game with some horror elements.
Yeah.
So if it's that, I can handle that. You can handle that. Shoot.
Yeah.
um. Anyway, so that was fun. The next thing after that was this is a big one. Wonder Woman, the game
Yeah, from
made by
WB.
Monolith, the guys who
Yeah.
made the Lord of the Shadow of War,
One
Middle Earth
one
Shadow
of
of War.
one of my favorite
Um,
game series.
Holy crap!
Very good.
When I saw the game, I was like, okay, this is gonna be dope. And then I saw Monolith. I was like, yo, I was hoping for Rocksteady, honestly, but Monolith is a good concession.
Yeah.
Because that I will be interested to see what they do with that Nemesis system for a
Wait, that's the
superhero
thing.
game.
So like, okay, so for anyone who hasn't played Shadow of Mordor and
Shadows of
Shadow of
War.
War, like you when you die, like the person who kills you remembers, and then they get like they evolve and like get stronger and stuff like that. And there's a really cool element going on here. But like they're not gonna there's no mechanic for that in the Wonder Woman universe, because in Shadow of War you die but you were always resurrected through Lord of the Rings magic and mumbo
Mhm.
jumbo. So like what are they going to do? How is it going to work here? I'm really interested. I think the concept is really cool because like within the superhero genre, you do get like these villains developing a relationship with the hero because of how many times they, interact with them, fight with them, put them away, they break out, and it goes all over again. So like, how would that would be a really cool concept to mess with, but like, how do you do it in gameplay? So I'm looking forward to it. I think that I think they could do a really good job. I think that the concept of superhero games now is a little bit better than it has been in the past because of things like the Batman games. But then of course then we have the Marvel game, and that sucked. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I mean, I think we've come more than just a little bit. I mean, without Rocksteady, who knows where we would be though?
Yeah.
Obviously, with the Arkham series, the Arkham, I guess, quadrilogy. I don't know if people consider if they consider Origins, but
It's a good game.
um,
So
I liked it. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, it did not need any of the multiplayer at all. That was, I
But
mean,
there's a
it
lot
was
of
a
people that
moment of its.
liked the multiplayer a lot. That's what I heard.
Maybe day one, maybe for like the first year, but nah, they dropped off, man.
Oh
It
yeah, of
dropped
course it
off.
dropped off.
They dropped off fast. But the servers are still up. The servers are still up because people are still like I'll sometimes just check out certain trophy lists and check the forums for like old games I completed. And on this website, there's actually like a forum for people like say, hey, anyone want to boost this? Are the servers still up? People are like, yeah, servers still up. I was like, holy crap. Um, anyways, so yeah, without those, we wouldn't know where we would be. And then obviously, Spider-Man came
Spider-Man.
and developed on that.
The
Miles
new
Morales as well,
Guardians of the Galaxy was really
and the
good.
Guardians of the Galaxy has done well too. And then obviously we're going to get Spider-Man 2, and then Wolverine. Oh, we have the X-Men
Wolverine.
Wolverine movie tie-in that wasn't really a tie-in because it had nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah.
But that was
Yeah, that was pretty good.
decent.
Yeah.
That was pretty decent, and I think it came
The Deadpool
around.
game
I
was
think
pretty good.
came around the same time as the Arkham series, and Deadpool wasn't half bad. It wasn't as good as Wolverine, but it wasn't half bad. It wasn't like the stupid garbage movie tie-in superhero games.
Yeah.
But so like we've had glimpses of how it could be done. And so, but obviously Batman and Spider-Man have like almost perfected it.
Mm.
So I think as long as they take cues, and Monolith kind of their combat with Shadow of Mordor and Shadow
Was
of War
Batman. It was Batman.
took cues
Yeah.
from Batman
It was
anyways.
Batman.
So they already know how to borrow from Batman in the first place. So like you could easily do that with Wonder Woman, but then add her her signature moves and
Oh yeah,
and gadgets and
fully
stuff.
expect the action gameplay to be Batman, Rocksteady, Monolith
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like it's gonna be that. It's one of those things that when it's perfection, you just stick with it because it still
Yeah,
feels good.
don't fix it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the combat in Shadows of Mordor War was really
Oh
good.
yeah, it was
I mean,
great.
yeah,
So
I
good.
liked it. It was really easy. It's actually really easy to take on hordes of those Norks.
Yeah.
Just and
Orcs
still come out orcs and still come out on top.
and
Sometimes you die,
Urukai or Urukai.
but yeah, them and like still come out on top. Like
Yeah.
that was kind of fun
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes.
When you take down like when you're just going and all like the different like who's weak against what, so what you need to do to like Oh man,
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Sometimes that was quite a nuisance for
Oh
me,
yeah, especially when you fly it
especially when
around
it
and you
came
try
to.
to like jump over a guy who has the no vaulting. So and then
Oh my
fuck.
gosh,
But
the ones that are like impervious to finishers. Oh, those guys
oh yeah,
can
yeah, yeah,
go die.
yeah.
Those dudes can get fucked. I hated them. Um, or they're like weak to almost everything except like one random thing that you never use, and you're like, come on. Anyways, yeah, it comes out. I think next year or the year after that. I forget. No earlier than next year though.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm really curious. A lot of people are probably going to be excited if they do it well, and I think it can sell
Yeah.
quite well,
Yeah.
honestly.
Should be good.
But yeah, so moving on, the new Sonic game, I think that was the one game that was actually teased before the show. There was a new Sonic game coming or announcement coming. It's called Sonic Frontiers, and it's
Yeah, it's
made
open
by the
world, right?
yeah, it's made by the dudes
Yeah.
that did Sonic Generations, I believe. Who coincidentally are also the guys that did Sonic Forces. A little known fact. But they showed a little preview of it, and yeah, it's open world. People were just like, "Huh, that looks like Breath of the Wild." So, but just slap a Sonic
Hey,
figure and
if you're gonna copy
and
something,
you know what? If it is going to be Breath of the Wild, but a Sonic game, honestly, that might be the perfect thing for it because that's always been the conundrum with Sonic, right? Sonic always his basic premise is to go fast, be a little speedball, but almost every game he's in keeps him
it's
from doing that.
confined.
Yeah, keeps him confined and not being and doesn't let you also be fast. And so it's like they put him like obviously that's I think it's part of what made the old game so well is that it encouraged you to just go. I mean, obviously the levels are all fleshed out, but you could just go and not necessarily die either if you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
But like I hope if I'm because I am thinking of Breath of the Wild and some of those, especially in the early days or the early like moments of the game when you actually can just move around and those giant grass expanses that you could
Oh
be part
yeah,
of,
yeah.
that's perfect for Sonic to just do what he wants to do what he does best, and just run around at the speed of sound. So I think if they do adapt something like that, I think it could be pretty solid. Pretty
For sure.
solid.
For
I
sure.
hope they could finally fucking grow up and make a decent story. Um, I know
No more kissing humans and
for some reason with the Sonic fan base, they are some of the hardest ride or diers you will ever know.
yeah, I'm
And
surprised that there are still fans. So yeah.
me too, but man, they like the only thing that would survive after a nuclear explosion would be cockroaches and Sonic fans because they no matter how bad a Sonic game can be, they will still be like, I love Sonic with all my heart because they'll still refer to like maybe some of the some of the better ones over the years and be like, no,
Yeah.
but no, those are great still. So even though Sonic Forces did piss poor, um, people still love the series. But like the thing I've always been bothered is that I don't know why they don't let anyone grow up. I mean, not in the sense of literally being older. It's just like the stories are always like contrived. The characters are all like stereotyped. No one seems to have really any real growth or development at all. And I get it, it's Sonic, but like, why not try? You know what I mean? I mean, you're completely changing your gameplay to make it open world.
Yeah,
Why
but
not go all out then with everything?
at the same time, like you have ones like Mario that are doing the same save the princess shtick for ever. So it just needs to
True,
be a good game. I
true.
think like you can get away with a cookie cutter story if it's a good game
I just whatever though.
with a game
But
type
here's
like
the
that.
thing. But Mario, man, here's the thing though. But half the Sonic games don't even have good gameplay. So it's like
Then that's the
you
problem.
I've been burned, not me personally, but like people have been burned on Sonic fronts on everything. At least Mario has always been consistent,
Yeah.
with what it does well. Anyways, we'll see what happens. I think it comes out next year. I'm not gonna get it unless it's like a fucking you have to have this. Like this is Sonic's Breath of the Wild moment. I'm not even gonna touch it, but I will be watching it, see what happens. Some other smaller announcements: Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 was announced. That was kind of a bit surprise. I remember that game came out like on the PS3, 360,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in
The
08,
space in between the two
long time
games is
ago.
crazy. Yeah.
long time
But
ago. I mean,
they've released a lot of these, like the Necromancer, and they've
Mhm,
released other games within the universe that done really
mhm.
well. So I think that's
Yeah.
why they were like, well, maybe we'll try this again.
Yeah, I think the reason why I know that game so fondly is because I think it was one of the harder platinums to get, especially back in the early days when trophies were still a thing, like just becoming a thing. It was one of the harder ones to get because it was like a huge ass online grind. But anyways, so that was that. This game called Slitterhead was announced, and it's being made by a former Silent Hill director,
Oh, okay,
like
yeah,
an OG Silent Hill director. I didn't see the preview or anything, but we'll see how it goes. It's supposed to be a horror game, and with a name like Slitterhead, I mean,
yeah.
what else could it possibly be?
I know it's a
Um,
farming sim.
that has to be one of the most misleading titles ever. Um, but yeah,
Welcome to Slitterhead. Oh,
especially if
your
all the
card.
marketing for like, especially for all of the if all the marketing was like all like dark and dreary and and then you pop the game and it's all bright and colorful. You're just making farms. Oh gosh, that'd be hilarious. Um, but yeah, and then this I think I don't know if this is an exclusive or not. I think it might be, but this game called Forspoken was given some more
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Is that a PS5 exclusive?
I don't
I
think.
can't. It might be a next gen exclusive.
Yeah, Nexon. I'm
Um,
pretty sure. Then that's something that what I was surprised about this show is that there were some games on there that did not have like Xbox One slash series. It was Series X and S. Like it didn't say Xbox One. So I'm hoping we'll get some of these games that are just like, hey, this is fun. This is the next gen. So
hey, you know that $500,000 you spent on the next gen system? Yeah, now you can actually get your
yeah,
money
yeah,
worth
right,
out of it.
right.
Yes. um, so yeah, that was shown. People have mixed feelings about it because and I watched a little bit about it. And so the cool thing about it is that it stars a black woman as your main protagonist.
Is that the one that
It-
like she's from New York and then she gets
yeah,
transferred? Okay, yeah, I've
that's that
seen
one.
that. It has some
Now,
slick looking shit
it
there. Like it
looks like a
looks,
shit.
yeah,
The movement looks nice.
yeah,
But the people are saying like at least from what because like people were able to get their hands on it like publications like news publications are able to actually try it out, and they're saying like it looks great, it's slick as hell, graphics are great, it's cool to have a minority, protagonist.
mm-hmm.
But two things were like, first of all, the world seems way too big, and from what we were able to play, we don't know how much you're actually going to be able to like do in it. It seems almost like we're just worried it's going to be empty, big
Yeah,
world just for the sake of having a big world.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, that's just the little bit they played. No one knows for sure yet.
yeah.
But and
A
the
lot of
second
that
thing was
stuff
that
gets like they don't want to put everything in the world for it. It does look like it's a PlayStation exclusive though,
oh, interesting.
which
Um,
is
but yeah,
bullshit. No, it does. It says Microsoft Windows.
oh well,
So well,
I guess if you
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
and then one publication mentioned that because it's made by a Japanese developer. I don't know which one. I think Square maybe.
Square.
Um,
It's Square.
but they're a little worried about like, okay, great, you have a black woman protagonist, but do you know how to really make a story revolving around a black woman protagonist from New
Yeah, yeah,
York?
right. We
Like you guys
just
are from
talked about
Japan.
how FromSoft doesn't know how to,
Yeah,
give you the ability to be black in their games.
yeah, that
So,
have like distinct black facial features. Like
yeah,
From Software doesn't even know how to do that. Neo doesn't know how to do it either. They're the same. It's the exact same situation. I don't
yeah.
even mess. I don't even mess around with the skin tones in Neo. I just, you know what?
Well,
We're in
okay, for
Japan.
Neo,
We're in
yeah, for
Japan.
Neo
I'm gonna stick with
2,
Japan.
yeah, for Neo 2, the story was in Japan, so maybe they just got around it that way. And in Neo 1, you had to be William, so
Oh, it's true. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah,
yeah, so
Neo 2
like,
that I meant. Neo 2. Yeah, I don't even mess around with those colors. You know
yeah,
what? We're in Japan. I'm gonna stick with Japanese person. I'm
yeah,
gonna because I've seen people change their skin tones for like match like other characters from other franchises, and I'm like, looks terrible. You don't
yeah,
even look like this color. You look Japanese, but with a different skin tone.
yeah,
It's so weird. But yeah, so people were like this. They were just worried about like we don't know what the story's really going to be yet. But like when you have a black protagonist, you get certain nuances with a black person. It just happened like with Deathloop. You get
yeah,
just like he has like a fucking swag about him, a style, a suave that
yeah,
you just can't get from a non-black person. So
yeah.
it's just gonna be interesting to see what
Us
they
white
do
people
with
don't have
her.
that swag.
I mean, if you do, it's not the same type of swag.
We're too
So
vanilla.
you know, so they're worried. I guess as a black person, I didn't think about that, but I'll be curious to see what they do with it. They could just
Yeah.
take a neutral stance, and if it's neutral, fine, you know. But anyway, we'll have to see. Another game people are kind of on the fence about is Babylon's Fall. That's the new action game from Platinum Games coming out next year, and
I mean,
people did
platinum's
have a
platinum.
excuse me.
I said platinum is platinum, so they have like they
Oh well,
have
people.
good shit behind them.
Well, obviously, no one's gonna deny their action is like bar none, right?
Yeah.
Probably the only more stylishly action game is probably the Devil May Cry series, but people had some hands on that earlier in the year too, and they were kind of like a little on the fence about that as well. I forget what the reasons were, but they didn't come away from it just raving with like just positivity. But that got announced for like a year. I think it's coming out next year as well. Yeah, it is. Another game that was announced was called Evil West, and that game I think is for no, that's for all systems, and it's like a Van Helsing meets the Wild West, and
Yeah. Okay, I
that
remember
sounded pretty
this.
cool. It's a third person shooter, which is right up my alley. So
Yeah.
I might have to give that game a shot sometime in the future. It comes out next year, but I think there's a I saw someone playing it. I think there's a demo on PC. I don't know if it's just for PC, but there's a demo I think available.
I don't
That was
recognize
cool.
either the developer or the publisher, so we'll have to
Well,
see.
it is a new IP. It's a brand new IP, so you know.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'll be interested. I mean, if it's third person shooter, I'll always give it a shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then after that, Cuphead, the the DLC is finally on its way. Comes out next June. The Delicious Last Course, I think it's called, or
Yeah.
something along those lines, comes out finally. Yeah, well, to see how it goes. I still I have Cuphead on my PlayStation. I'm still I played it on my alternate account just to see like could I beat it, you know? And I'm at the second no, I'm at the third world actually. I got farther than we did when we played it. Um I'm at the third world. I have like a few of the bosses, a couple maybe one or two bosses left to beat. I just put it down. I haven't touched it in a long time, but yeah, I'll just I'm curious to see if I can end up beating that game eventually because if I can, I'll play it on the channel like solo by myself and see how that goes. But yeah, so that got announced. That was cool. Next game, Expanse was announced by Telltale, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah. I was
"Yo,
like,
what?"
what? They're still around?
Yeah, I thought they got
Yeah, I thought they were.
liquidated after
Yeah.
that huge controversy 3 years ago. I guess I mean, I knew I know that when all that shit went down. If you guys don't know, it's oh my gosh, it's a fucking story. It was like 3 Christmases ago. Telltale Studios, who made Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, Game of Thrones, Batman, like a couple other games, a couple series. Um, they just like the boss just like was just like you guys like we're shut down. You have like 30
Yeah.
minutes to get out of your office and you got to go.
Yeah.
And just I don't
Get
know,
the
and like
fuck
and
out.
we're not gonna pay your pensions. We're not gonna pay you anything. You got to go. If you are still here, you will be escorted by police. It was nuts. And it comes to find like there were like so much mismanagement of funds and like just on the upper executive team. It was a mess. And then it looked like they had been losing money for quite some time because like after like Wolf Among Us, they like hadn't made like really good returns on any of those games
Yeah.
that they have been doing. Um, Obviously because like it's the same type of game, obviously just a different franchise that you're doing it in. So like it kind of ran its
Well,
course.
and a lot of it was that they paid
Yeah, a lot of money for those
for
franchises
the
too.
franchises, and
Yeah,
then couldn't do anything with them. Instead of taking
yeah,
ones like Wolf Among Us and making a Wolf Among Us 2 where they wouldn't have had to pay for fucking
as
anyway.
much at least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
no, at least not
much.
as much.
Yeah.
Or at least, and they never innovated at all. Like at least, okay, you could go back and say like Quantum Dreams is also kind of the same thing too, but like they try to do something a little bit different, right? Like
Yeah.
I've seen Detroit and I've seen Heavy Rain, and there's a clear
Yeah.
progression.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same premise, but there's a clear progression and evolution of what they're doing. But Telltale, like I played, everyone played Walking Dead the first season, and then I played Wolf Among Us, and then I had to play Game of Thrones, and then I played Tales from the Borderlands. It is literally the same game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is absolutely like there's no, even the graphics don't even look any better,
Yeah,
right? Like it
and
is
I would say
exactly the
like
same type of game.
the only story, like in my opinion, the best ones were I was invested in all of the Walking Dead. Like I played all of it. It was great in my opinion. Like yeah, it was repetitive, but I liked the story. Telltale was Borderlands was good, and then Wolf Among Us. All the rest were just Meh.
Yeah, it was almost like they were just buying too many,
Yeah.
and just because, right? I mean, like, yeah, it was cool. I played the Game of Thrones because it was free, on PS Plus, and it was fine, even for someone who's not invested in the Game of Thrones universe, because it was like an original story, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't. I was invested, but like, it was like whatever. Tales from the Borderlands, even that was like that was better than Game of Thrones, but even that was like, to me at least. And I'm invested in the Borderlands universe, you know. But obviously, yeah, Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead, fucking killed it, right? They absolutely killed it. And I think, and I mean, yeah, like I said, like they just bought too many franchises. They cost too much money because these were huge properties. These weren't just some little things; they were huge. But then when they collapsed, I know there was a studio that
Skybound.
hired Skybound. They hired some of the developers to just to finish Walking Dead season 4, and then that's the last time I heard. I didn't know that somehow the company revived
Yeah,
itself.
it's yeah.
Maybe Skybound helped them revive or something. I don't know, but that was huge. That was a huge announcement. So I'm excited. We'll see if now, hopefully they've like cut loose all of the toxic people that were in that the first studio. They have a better leadership team, and so maybe, even though it is going to be it is still going to be a narrative driven type of game based off of a known property, because I think it's based on like some kind of TV show or something. Um, Hopefully they can do something innovative with their established formula, so where it's still a Telltale game, but you're doing more than what you used to before. Um, so yeah, so that was fun. Some game called Arc Raiders was announced. I don't know anything about that. But that was announced. And then A Plague Tale Requiem was shown.
Yep.
I think it was given a release date of next year. I think that game is going to be awesome. I thought it
Yeah, I didn't
was.
play the
I was
first one.
fearful that it was. Neither did I, but I'm going to, because that game looks wonderful, and it obviously deals with like a brother sister situation, and I am a sap for brother sister situations.
Not
I don't know
those
why. Like,
kind.
oh, jeez, man, really? Only in the gaming nerd universe where you actually have to put an asterisk like after brother sister situations. Anywhere else, it'd be fine. I can say that no one would be weirded out, but no, with this, you gotta fucking put that. Oh, jeez, man.
We are
I'm
on
sure
the
you guys
internet,
weren't.
so
I'm sure you guys know what I was talking about.
just don't Google brother
Yeah.
sister and you'll be fine.
With anime follow behind it. Like some people, like a lot of people are like, they're suckers for like stories involving dogs or animals or pets. For me, it's like brothers and sisters like going through struggles and bonds and stuff. Like that's always been a soft spot for me. So I will play that first one eventually, and I'm going to get that sequel as well. A game called Rumbleverse was shown. It's a wrestling
Yeah, I
battle
saw that.
royale
Yeah,
free to play game. Free
yeah,
to play. I didn't know it was a wrestling focus. I thought it was like just some brawler thing.
yeah,
But then it was like, no, it's a wrestling. I was like, get out of here.
yeah.
It's a wrestling
Well,
free to play battle royale.
like, oh yeah, and I
Oh,
mean, I don't
jeez.
know. So like, there was a. You remember the dodgeball one, Knockout City?
Yeah.
Apparently, that does well, like well
Yeah, I
enough.
mean, it's doing all
Yeah,
right. Yeah, yeah, it's okay. I
it's
mean, it came out earlier this year, and it still has a player
yeah,
base.
and I
So I
mean,
mean,
it doesn't hurt that I think it was on Game Pass or is on Game Pass.
it was also free on PS Plus a previous
Yeah,
month as
so
well. Um, I mean, yeah, we've seen weirder stuff, but I don't know, man. We're gonna run out of things to do battle royale on, but
Battle
anyways,
Royale farming
um,
sim.
dude, don't get ideas. You know what's gonna happen. um, and then there's some indie title called Chia, or Chia, but with a T in front of it. It's some indie game. I don't know what culture it focuses on, but it seems to be some kind of
Paul Phoenician.
more of an Eastern. Is it Polynesian? Okay. Yeah, like I didn't know it was Asian or more of like a not an East in the sense of like Asia or China, but
Yeah, it
like
looks Paul Phoenician.
Mongolia or something like that. But yeah, so that was shown. I know nothing about it, but it was announced and shown. After that, Pubg is going free to play. Um, I think on
It's
all
about
consoles.
time. I thought it already
Yeah, I
had.
mean, did it ever get out of beta?
What does that even mean anymore? Who fucking knows?
Well, I mean, Fortnite's not in beta anymore. That's out of beta. well, anyways, yeah, the PUBG's finally going free to play instead of being $30. Um, and maybe now it'll maybe compete a little bit better with Fortnite. Um, and you say that as a guy who likes PUBG more than Fortnite.
Yeah, I played the shit out of PUBG back in the day.
You sure did. We have a video on it. One of
Yeah,
our earliest videos that we never did was on PUBG. And
yeah.
you got a chicken. You got a win-win chicken dinner.
I did. I got
You
one
did.
chicken dinner. Yeah,
You won one on the when we
fucking
did it
yeah,
too, and I was
crazy,
just shitting on the game for 45 minutes straight, and it was
crazy.
awesome.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll. I mean, it may not beat. I mean, it won't beat. It won't overtake Fortnite, but maybe it'll boost the company's own internal numbers and stuff. But yeah, so that was shown. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre is coming from
Yeah,
the same guys that did the Friday the 13th game.
yeah.
That's their new project. They're moving on. So
It seems
yeah,
like
we'll see how it goes.
it seems like though that it's just gonna be Friday the 13th, but
Yeah,
like, so why
Texas Chainsaw
isn't this
Massacre.
just DLC?
Money
Yeah, I guess.
because fuck you. I
Or
don't
a
know.
new engine, maybe. Hopefully, a new engine.
Hopefully, it's also not as broken
Yeah.
as Friday 13th. Because I remember when that game launched, it was
Oh yeah, it
hella
was
broken.
wrecked. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play it, of course. It's not my type of thing. But I heard, yeah, I heard it was a mess. I remember, didn't we go to PAX and they were playing it, or was that Dead by Daylight?
Might have been Dead by Daylight. I
Because
can't remember.
we didn't play it, but we went to PAX. We went to PAX like 4 years ago. Like I think our first PAX we went to, and there was like a whole like there was like 8 or so people, like in a couple rows, and they're playing this was before like isometric multiplayer wasn't even like that wasn't even really a thing. Like that was a really still a new concept. I think the only game that had done it was like Evolve.
Yeah.
But like that was still like a really new thing. So I was like, what the fuck
And
is going? Like
there
what
was
is
that
happening here?
and For Honor, which is not isometric, but it's kind of the same thing.
I wouldn't call that isometric,
Nah.
but yeah, but yeah, that was such a, like a that my mom blown. I was like, I don't even know how you're supposed to play this. Like, what is happening here? But yeah. So we'll see what happens. I do hope that they better the engine, increase like I'm sure. I mean, they got to do something. I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise they're gonna get roasted, by the internet, and that player base is gonna die, in 2 weeks. So I hope they have enough in the stored for us or for players that is to be like, okay, this is obviously an improvement from Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Um, and after that, the last thing was a Star Trek game is coming, and it's made by former Telltale developers.
Yep.
So another Telltale related game, just is not Telltale company. It's
And
just
I'm
Telltale
gonna play them
Games.
both. So
Yeah, I'll probably grab the Star Trek game event one day. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, never been, but I am all about story driven games, and if it's the type of game that I like, I can get into any franchise. Honestly,
yeah.
if it's in a style of game that I like, I won't mind giving it a shot. Like they could take, excuse me, they could. I mean, actually, I don't know an example, but like there's been a lot of games where like I like the setting, but like it's an RTS, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not into that. I just can't do those. But yeah, so I'll probably grab it. Are you a huge Star Trek fan? I
I
don't.
wouldn't
We
say
don't really talk about
huge,
that.
but it has good lore and stuff like that. So if it's good, then like if it's done well, I'm gonna like it. It has enough lore that you can make a good story.
Oh, I mean, as far as lore wise, they can go anywhere with that. I mean, easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's all I saw. That kind of wraps it up. There was some other like smaller announcements, like we said, that weren't really announcements per se. They were just more like, here's some gameplay on a game we already knew about.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think it was more on Elden Ring shown too, and
Yeah. Yeah.
but like we already knew about that stuff. We don't need to talk about that. But that kind of wraps up the award show. It was a really good award show. A lot of announcements. Some stuff was announced afterwards, like Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is coming out for PS4 and Switch.
I thought that was no. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it is just it's the fighter. It's the
Yeah.
fighting game.
There's a
Fuck that
rumor
game.
that Golden 4 is gonna be
Yes, I
remade.
saw that. Or reported or something. I
Yeah.
did see that. We'll see what happens. I might give that a shot because I always thought it was so weird how Persona 4 Golden was on the Switch but never got put to the PS3 at the time. Because this was
Yeah.
like back in 2014, 2013. I was like, this is why. I don't understand. Why wouldn't you? Like, I don't get it. Like, this makes no freaking sense. But yeah, I mean, I know P4 is definitely I mean, that was like their golden goose for a long time. Like, I didn't even know about
Until
Persona.
5.
I didn't know about Persona really at all, but I knew Persona 4 because they had made that game into everything. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like I was like, okay, Persona 4 Golden on Vita, okay. Persona 4 Arena, all right, PS3. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, I was like, okay. And
Persona
it was like
4 dancing all night.
yeah, Persona 4 Dancing All Night. I was like, all right. And then Persona Q with the Labyrinth, like the 3DS game with Professor, the detective,
Yeah.
that detective game. I was like, okay, that's another one. And it was like another dancing game or something like that on Persona 4. I was like, all right. And it was like Persona 4 the anime. And I was like, what is happening? Like, there's so much Persona 4. What is going on? And but I actually played Persona 4 Arena Ultimate because it was free on PS Plus on the PS3 way back. And fuck that game. That game was so hard
I
to
think it's
platinum.
I think
Oh
it's
my gosh.
I think it's made by the same people who do either
Blaze Blue.
Blaze Blue,
Blaze Blue.
or
Yeah,
King of
Arc it's
Fighters, which
Arc
maybe they're all the same.
is Arc System Works is the developer and they make Blaze Blue. I think they make KOF. I could be wrong though. I don't maybe Guilty Gear. It might be Guilty Gear they make.
Yeah.
But definitely Blaze Blue. So it's the same. It's the 2D fighting type of game, which I'm not even a fan of to begin with. That's why I don't even mess around with Street Fighter, not at all. But like I was playing a game. Actually, you know what? The platinum was fine, but the DLC was, man, that was some of the most excruciating pain I've been through my life because you have to do each DLC character's combos, like their combo list, the dreaded combo list. And there's like, oh no, combo challenges, and there's like 25 for each character, and you have to do all of them for all three of the DLC characters. Yeah, three, and they are some of the hardest shit I've done my entire life. Like, and I've done, like, for those who are in the know of trophies, I have done Mortal Kombat versus DC Universes combo challenge, and that is also heralded as one of the hardest platinums in the PS3 era to get, because you have to do the combo challenges for every character in that game too, and that was some of the hardest shit in my entire life. So like, yeah, it just reminded me back when I was doing that, and I was like, this is literal hell. This is hell. This is absolute hell. It was, yeah. I hated every minute of it, but I got it, and it is. I don't. If they have those same trophies in this remaster, I'm gonna like that. To me, that's basically radioactive waste as far as I'm concerned, and I am staying as far away from it as I possibly can.
Well,
Yeah.
let's say real quick what
Oh,
we're most looking like, what's we're most excited about. So I'll go first.
from the
I would
award
say it's
show.
yeah. I would
Okay.
say it's probably Star Wars. Like, I'm most excited for it. Like, I'm going to play that game. Like, hands down. I am very interested in how Monolith does Wonder Woman. I can't guarantee that I can't say I'm excited to play it. I probably will if it's good, but I am interested to see how they handle that franchise. But yeah, like Star Wars, I'm going to be probably picking up day one.
Especially if it's on the Game Pass day one too.
Oh yeah, of course.
um, man, you know I'm a bad person when it comes to these things because you know I don't play games on day one, or even
That's true. Right.
year one.
What most interested you?
But
You don't have to want to play it, but what most grabbed your attention?
but I hate to be just repeating the same thing, but that Wonder Woman was kind of was out of left field. I was not
Yeah.
expecting it at all,
Yeah.
and it will be interesting to see what they do with that property. Um, I have no expectations really. I have nothing I'm expecting or like anything specific that I'm like wanting. I'm just hoping that they do it justice and they do, they do everything that was good with the Middle of Earth series, and they apply it to Wonder Woman, but then obviously they add all these extra things and other stuff, and hope it works. Hope it does well. I hope they had a lot of costumes, especially for a comic books thing. Batman did it, Spider-Man did it. I hope Wonder Woman has it too, because obviously Wonder Woman goes back to like the 30s. So there's a
Mhm.
whole bunch of costumes you could do, or you can unlock and stuff like that. I just hope they do it right. And in that, I guess the Forspoken, I'll be keep my eyes on that to see how that goes. Uh, yeah, it's very interesting. I want to see. I do am curious to see if the world will end up being too big for its own good. But if it ends up being a next gen exclusive, or a PS5 exclusive or whatever, I hope they'll be able to use the new system's power to really take advantage of it and make something really special, really great. Given, however, though, it is still like the first couple years of this generation, and I don't know if you could even count this year as the first year, because I mean, with the COVID and everything. So maybe next year will be the official first year. And obviously, everyone knows first year games are always hit or miss. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens with it. But I mean, everything else was just like fun and cool, but nothing I would play right away.
Yeah.
I'm so behind. It's a problem. It's a problem. But yeah, That's about it for me. But anyways, guys, that wrap up this episode. Next week is going to be a special episode of the CHG podcast, everybody, because David will be
in Washington.
He will be in
Washington.
We will be doing this podcast in the same location, the same room, just like our first one that we did.
Yes.
The first one, we'll both be in the same room, and we'll be recording it together, just like we did the first podcast episode. I don't know what it'll be on, but we're gonna do it. It's gonna be awesome. Or maybe not next week. You come on Thursday. We might not have time. Okay, scratch that. Maybe not next week's, but if not next week, the week after that, we'll have
whenever we get it up.
Whenever, but it will happen. There will be one of us in the same room at the same time, and we're also gonna be doing a whole lot of recordings together in person. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good times. Cannot wait. I'm gonna have it. I have a whole agenda planned out. He doesn't even know what's coming yet. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. Good stuff's coming to the channel very shortly. And with that, guys, that are up this episode. Thank you for watching. If you stuck this long, you guys are the real OGs. And this has been RJ. That is David. This is CHG Podcast. If you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Merry Christmas.